We are live. We are ready for guitar class here. Let me go post the link on the website. Website is denverguitarorchestra.com. And we play fingerstyle, classical, a little strumming, a little singing, a little bit of everything to make sure that we are the best possible guitarist we could be, despite the fact that despite nothing, we want to be the best guitar players we could be. All right, so I think I got the link posted, and click. All right, looks good. Let me make sure it links properly. We're going to be today. We're going to be playing "Farmer in the Dell," one of the great songs of all time, and then we're going to play "Clementine." Oh, my darling. Then we're playing Beautiful Dreamer. We've got a couple more rounds of that. And then Imagine and Wonderful World. We're just getting started on that. That's for level 4 players, not necessarily for everybody. So we'll be getting those done. And so we'll let everybody log in while they are in the process of logging in. Vic is already here. Proper sound, proper lighting. I've got it all figured out, don't I? I look like me, and I sound like me, unfortunately. And we're all good. All right, we're ready to go. Got baritone ukulele. Got our musical theory here. We got something that's supposed to look like it came from Paris here. Humidifier. A couple of ukulele bags. Music stand. Rocky Mountain Ukulele Orchestra t-shirt. That's it. That's everything you can see. Jennifer is in. First guitar class, Jennifer. What in the heck? Holy mackerel. Jennifer sent me an email a few days ago. She says, I got this guitar. I'm going to start using it. And I'm like, oh, Jennifer. Ever. Oh, my God. we can manipulate Jennifer's mind. Here's the problem with Jennifer. Jennifer is a legit, honest to God music teacher. So she really knows. She'll know if I'm telling her a lie. So glad you're here, Jennifer. That's very exciting. Very, very exciting. Glad you're here. I am being deluged with Russian spam in my WordPress account. The WordPress account that I use to host everything it tells me when somebody has registered, and I've got it closed off on all of the websites except Jolly Roger. I have to leave it open because of that subscription thing. And so Russian spammers, I'm getting dozens every day, and I get all these emails. Oh, somebody logged in. You're like, oh gosh, they can't do anything. They just log in, and then that's it. And then I have to go through and delete all their logs. So there's one more thing I'm wasting my time on. Guys, if you do not yet have, let's wait just a minute or two until we get everybody in. We're still missing a couple of people, so let's get everybody in. Then I'll make all of these announcements. The big thing today would be to grab your Farmer in the Dell. We're going to start with Farmer in the Dell. It is, as you all know, the greatest song ever written, and we are going to make sure that it is part of your solid repertoire. Every time you go to, when you go to a concert and you're like, oh God, I hope they play Farmer in the Dell. You guys will be able to include it in your concerts now. And it is, I think there's a part of you that's just going to feel like a better human being having Farmer in the Dell really solid in your repertoire. And, as you know, I give you multiple ways to play Farmer in the Dell. So please know I have been thinking of you, and I'm going to make great use of your time here. In the meantime, I'm busily pretending to know what I'm talking about. I'm down. I got to get Imagine, and I got to get Wonderful World into my little gadget here so we can start the discussion on those. Remember tonight that we have our 8 p.m. time. We have our level 4 only class, and so those of you guys who come during the day, it's hit or miss whether you really need to come to the Thursday night class, because we end up doing just as much with it here during the day. But if you do not want, if you do want to come, that's tonight. And let's see, what else do I want to talk about? If you don't have Wonderful World and Imagine, you got to send me an email. They're free this time, because it's old. They're not old arrangements. I just updated them for you guys just now, and so they are more or less, but they're off of old blanks that I used and stuff. So they are good arrangements, and but I need you to send me an email and say, "Yep, Gary, I'm in on for Imagine and a Wonderful World." Might as well. We're going to be working them and the other Christmas music through the rest of the season, and I want you to have like a nice Christmas concert that you could give to somebody. So in other words, I'm thinking with all of the sheet music for over the next 4 weeks, and there'll be plenty of it. I want you at the end. I want you when December 25th rolls around, and the virus is magically cured, and everybody, all of your family, can get together. That you have the ability to play a nice little concert for them, and now, most of you are like, yeah, that's not happening. None of that's going to happen. But I want you to have the ability to do it. And that's the key, right? It doesn't matter whether you actually do it. It matters whether you could do it. And I remember years ago when I first started in ukulele, I went to one of these ukulele. We have a ukulele fest here every year, put on by the folk music school down here. And I went through it for 9 years in a row, and it was exactly the same every single time. And so I stopped going. But back in the day when they started the first one, I was like, I'm going to get up and play an instrumental solo because nobody's playing ukulele that way. And I was totally prepared, and I went, and I didn't do it because I don't know why. I think I chickened out, basically. And I was thinking nobody cares about playing ukulele as an instrumental anyway, so whatever. But I had the ability at that moment to do it, and that's what mattered, was getting ready to go down. Whether I did it or not is a tertiary issue. The important part was I was ready, and that's what I want you guys. I want by December 24th. Yeah, you got to have it ready by the 24th, because on Christmas Eve you have to play Silent Night, right? So I will get you ready for it. Jennifer's in her first guitar lesson ever, so we'll run through a couple of beginning stuff for her. It's very exciting, Jennifer. Really glad you're here. Do you think they want to learn guitar? Do you think they want to? Do you think who wants to learn guitar? Everybody wants to. Everybody. Here's what I know. Everybody wants to play guitar. Very few people are willing to learn how to play guitar. Oh, the Russians. Yeah, here's what I know. Everybody owns a guitar. Every house has a guitar, and every last one. But nobody's willing to learn how to play it, right? That's what separates you guys out from the pack. Is you're gonna you guys know how to play. You're gonna know how to play. The Russians, they really want to be involved in my ukulele program. That's what they want. Because ukulele and Russia, they're almost synonymous, So, yeah, I don't know why they register for that website all the time, like dozens a day. It's crazy. Hey, Pauline, welcome in. Arlo is here. Jennifer, could we bundle up and stroll with our guitars? Have you ever done that? Have you ever taken a guitar outside in the winter? It doesn't go well. Yeah, this is definitely a sit around in the shopping mall, in the middle of the mall where Santa is, and you get a couple of stores down the way. There's the guitar guy, right, doing his thing. Christmas carols. Yep, we're going to have tons of those. Oh, Christmas carols is better. I think you're better off with more hardy instruments that do better in the cold, especially up there in Illinois, Jennifer. I don't even know if I'd go outside in the winter, let alone take my instrument out there. Paley, I decided to skip laundry and come to this class. Well, of course, duh. Laundry or play guitar. Laundry, play guitar. All right, guys, we got a lot to go over today. So, one, here's your music theory thought for the day. Remember, I don't care if you ever learn to play standard notation, but you might want to care. It just makes you, as musicians, we have this common language that involves this treble clef, right? And it gives us a chance. There are things on the standard notation that is important for you as a tablature player, as a guitarist, but it is a separate and distinct system from tablature. It has strengths, it has weaknesses. The weakness of this system is that it's different if you're a multi-instrumentalist, this system is not necessarily the greatest system. If you have one instrument and you are passionate about it and you play that instrument only, this system is ideal. You learn where all your notes are on that particular instrument, works out beautiful. The problem is when you start going from instrument to instrument, this note right here, this note right there, it shows up all over the place, right? On your instrument, you'll be shocked when you find out where we notate it versus where it really is. And so that'll be one of that's your homework for tonight. But this week you were able to learn to draw the treble clef. You also learned that it's sometimes called a G clef. And for you guys, it's actually an octave clef because there should be a little 8 on the bottom of this. Then today, I want to make sure that you remember from second grade music. Hopefully Jennifer already taught it to you. Every good boy does. Fudge, E, this is your E line, this is your G line, that's your B line, that's your D line, and this is your F line. Some of you learned it as every good boy does fine. That's how I learned it, but deserves fudge is more popular these days. And then the spaces in between them spell face. Okay, so a lot of times if you're looking at standard notation, I do that still today, to this day after 2 decades on piano. I still have to occasionally go, every good boy does, oh, okay, D. And I have to do it much more on my bass hand than I do on the right hand, but it's not uncommon for me to be D. That's what that note is. Your homework was to name this little line down here. This is called a ledger line. As a guitar player, you're going to have 3 ledger lines underneath the treble clef. You're going to receive 3 ledger lines because you go all the way down to E below the C here, okay? And then as a guitarist, you also have a ton of ledger lines up above there. And I don't spend a ton of time arranging stuff down here, but if it goes down there, it goes down there. Now, here's your homework. You have a problem, okay? On your instrument, I want to know where your middle C is. There's 2 answers to this for a guitarist only. You get 2 answers. Where your middle C really is, and when it says middle C on your sheet music, where is that going to be on your guitar? There's 2 answers, okay? You have a real middle C, and then you have a notated middle C. And the difference is because you're working off the octave clef, which has a little 8 on the bottom of that. And we'll talk about that as we show you the sheet music today. But where is middle C on your guitar? 2 answers for you guys. The real middle C and the notated middle C are different. Okay, that's your homework for tonight. Give that some thought. We'll talk about it tomorrow. And I will remind you, when you play your guitar, you're playing it on the treble clef, but it's sounding an octave below that. Okay. And it doesn't particularly matter as a guitarist until you get ready to start doing arranging. And then it matters a lot because your computer and your software is going to be very fussy about which middle C you mean. All right, let's go into book 1. We'll take a brief tour for Jennifer. Jennifer is here on her very first guitar lesson. We want it to go well. Let me give you the day 1 first, the 5-minute discussion. Okay. So first thing is tuning your guitar. If nothing else, you have to have this phrase remembered. Eddie ate dynamite. Goodbye, Eddie. You have to have that memorized. Eddie ate dynamite. Goodbye, Eddie. It's very funny on some level, unless you're Eddie. And Eddie, E, ate, E-A, dynamite. Goodbye, Eddie. E-A-D-G-B-E. That's critical. Okay. As always, I recommend you own a Snark Super Tight HZ. Okay. It costs $18 if you buy one from me. I think there's $17.50 on Amazon. High definition computer, high definition screen, ultra modern computer inside of it. And on guitar, especially this low note, if you have a cheap tuner, it can't even hear it. They're really bad. So if you have any other tuner, you're making your life harder. Next thing, click the E. Whoops, let me turn it on. Turn it on. E. That's E. Okay. And you're double checking your tuning against my E. A. D. E, G, B, and E. Okay, so now you should be in tune. The way you double check that is your relative tuning. It's all of every string in the 5th fret, except the 3rd string will be in the 4th fret. So if you hold down the 5th fret on 5, sounds the same as the string below it. 5th fret on the 6th string on the 5th fret, same as the one below it. Same here, 5th string, 5th fret, same as the one below it. 4th string, 5th fret, same as the one below it. The one you got to remember is the 3rd string goes to the 4th fret. And then finally, 2nd string goes to the 1st fret, or 2nd string, 5th fret. And the nice part about checking your relative tuning is your computer will give you pretty good, get you really darn close, but you may have minor adjustments to do. I know when I go to see classical guitar players play, they'll have the whole thing tuned up, and that the last thing they usually do is do their relative tuning check, and you'll usually see a little, I can't hear it, but they'll make micro adjustments at that last little bit to make sure the guitar is in tune with itself. Okay, now. Next thing I think is critical as a guitarist is how you hold the guitar. You can play it like this, like a cowboy guitarist, and your thumb is going to end up way up here, and you're going to have to do all these super acrobatic weirdo things with your right hand to make the chords, left hand to make these chords, or you could just hold the guitar in proper position, which is about 45, 50 degree angle here, 60 degree. I got about 55, I guess, right? Pretty steep angle, and then everything else works out perfectly. Okay, the weird part about this is the guitar then drops into your lap or between your legs a little bit. And that takes a tiny bit of getting used to, but that's what you should be doing. This makes the most sense. If you stand up to sing and play your guitar, this is the positioning your guitar is going to be in anyway. And so you might as well practice it sitting down, even though it feels awkward. Next thing, your thumb, of course, Jennifer, just the same as ukulele. I should never, ever, ever, ever see your thumb. There is an exception to that. When you're playing electric guitar, there are times you'll reach up to stop these strings from buzzing, but there's no exception to that on acoustic guitar. There's no reason for your thumb to ever come up over the top. And if this string starts getting out of control, you just reach up with your right thumb, stop it, and that's the end of that. But on electric guitar, there are reasons why you might have your thumb up there. And so again, acoustic thumb in the back here, we never see your thumb, and it hangs out wherever your middle finger is. It hangs out behind there. That's the posture of that. By far the hardest thing about guitar the first few weeks is holding it and tuning it. If you can get that done. Now, next thing we do is I do melody and chords. And Jennifer, you're already an expert at all this, so there's no reason to go over that stuff. We're going to go right into Farmer in the Dell. Farmer in the Dell, you have an A chord. And guys, index finger on the 4th string, 2nd fret. Ring finger on the 3rd string, 2nd fret. Middle finger on the 2nd string, 2nd fret. Okay, that's your A chord. And now there's a part of me in my head that's like, are we doing Farmer in the Dell? Yes. Okay, so you've got that. And for comparison's sake, those of you ukulele players, this is your D chord, right? Guitars are A chord. Okay, two ways, lots of ways to strum, but the two main ones are strumming. Okay, on A chord, we try not to hit the top string. Won't matter if you do. And then finally, this is the other particular strumming pattern I like you to do is the plucking. Okay, Wi-Fi is on now. Oh, good. Glad you made it, Elizabeth. All right, here we go. 1, 2. The farmer in the dell. The farmer in the dell. Hi-ho, the dairy-o, the farmer in the dell. Change your pattern. The farmer takes a wife. The farmer takes a wife. Hi-ho, the dairy-o, the farmer takes a wife. Okay, that's it. When we get started, that's it. Ultimately, I want you to be playing arpeggios. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The farmer in the dell. The farmer in the dell. Hi-ho, the dairy-o, the farmer in the dell. Okay, so really, at the end of the day, there's strumming is either up or down, and plucking is either all your fingers together or lots of fingers together or one at a time. That's at the end of the day, that's sort of the big categories of how you make sound come out of your instrument. So that's your chord. Then, of course, let's play the melody. On Farmer in the Dell, we first play it with just our middle finger, but then I say, hey, let's just hold the chord and see how much work we can get out of it. This is the very first lesson in chord melody playing is Farmer in the Dell. You hold your A chord and see how many notes you can get out with only making modifications to this. So first note's a 2, you're already holding it down, pluck that. Next note, we got a bunch of 2s on the 3rd string and you're already holding them down. Next note's a 0 on the 2nd string. You're holding a 2 right now, so you got to lift up your ring finger, play the 0, and then put it right back down to play the next 5 2s. Next 2 notes in measure 5 are zeros. You got a 2 there, so you got to lift your ring finger up, go grab that 2, and then go put it right back where it was and play another 0. And then the next 2 2s in measure 6. Then you got another 0 on that 2nd string. So again, lift your ring finger up, put it back down, lift it back up, and then you have a 2 on the 3rd string. Okay, let's play it a few times from the top. Ready, play. One more time. If you have a metal string guitar, of course, it keeps ringing on a long time. So don't be yanking your cord up. Just be reaching down and gently sliding your hand up over the bridge and over the saddle to get it to stop. If you have a nylon string guitar, they tend to stop ringing a little sooner, and you may not have to do that. But try never to lift your cord up until your guitar is silent. Okay, so now you've learned the chords and you've learned the melody. And then obviously at level 1, on day 1, Jennifer, I don't expect you to be playing tough acts. But again, it's the same thing as we do in ukulele. So you're probably pretty comfy with it at this point. And for all of you guys, if you're level 1 or above, level 2 or above, you should be playing the tough acts. And again, coming to a song like this where it's only one chord gives a chance to really sound good. Okay, so from the top of the song, we'll play through the tough acts twice. From Jennifer says she's got, see, she's a better player than I am now. Let's see, I knew 4 chords on the guitar line. They're coming back. Yeah. So you probably knew A chord, A chord, D chord, and G chord. Those are the 4 chords we teach. Okay, so you got your A chord now, and then you and I will talk about getting E chord, A chord. Well, you'll be catching up, right? Then no problem. All right, let's do that tough acts, everybody. If you are level 2 or above, ready, play. It's a dumb song, but the skill set that it offers you, 3rd lesson of Intro to Guitar, is tremendous, right? And those of you guys who've been around a while, you know, that's it, man. That's what we do. We hold the chord, we strum it, We occasionally lift a finger up or add a finger or move a finger around just a little bit to grab those melody notes. That's it. That's it. Every single thing that we do in guitar is on this one page. Okay. Well, that's not true. The one thing that we do in guitar that's not on this page is switching chords, and that's the entire book 2 is where we learn how to do that. So you have in one song that's not that great of a song, really the secret to playing fingerstyle guitar. And I do think sometimes when we're all in a rush to get to the next song and play Bohemian Rhapsody and Hotel California and whatever other weirdo song that we're playing, we have a tendency to skip over this stuff in a rush to get to that. And you're like, well, the skill set you need is right here. Teach you how to play melody, teach you how to play chords, teach you how to play chord and melody. It even teaches you how to play arpeggios, right? And so the whole thing is just sitting right here in front of you. The only thing we don't do in this song is switch chords. And you don't really want to be switching chords when you're learning that basic stuff. So tomorrow we'll play Former in the Dell for the last time for a while. So weep, weep, and row, row, row your boat. We'll start next week. Well, maybe not. Let me talk to you guys about that in just a second. So let's move on to book 2. Book 2, we are playing. What are we playing? We are playing Clementine. Clementine. Go grab your Clementine, please. Book 2. I was working with them on Go Tell Aunt Rhody last night in my Lakewood Zoom class, and they got to meet the C chord, right? We all hate the C chord. All right, Clementine. All right, so again, ironically, perfect timing, Jennifer. Here's your A chord again. And you're going to go to your E7. What I really recommend is when you go to your E7, your index finger is going to drop down one string and go back a fret, and then these two guys just pop up. And then the last motion is just to lift up your ring finger to get the 7th. Okay. And so this going back and forth between chords is pretty important. 1, 2, 1, 2. Because the other skill set we have to learn is getting from one chord to another. And honestly, if you just played every single song in book 2 just with chords and singing, you can do your hands and your guitar future a huge service. There's 16 chords in book 2, I think. 16, I think. And they're the main ones. There's a few bar chords that we need to learn in book 3, but for the most part, that's the bulk of guitar playing. Here we go. In a cavern, in a canyon, excavating for a mine, dwelt a miner, 49er, and his daughter Clementine. Oh, my darling, oh, my darling, oh, my darling Clementine, you are lost and gone forever. Dreadful song, Clementine, light she was, like a fairy, and her shoes were number 9. Herring boxes without tops, sandals were for Clementine. Oh, my darling, oh, my darling, oh, my darling Clementine, you are lost and gone forever, dreadful song, Clementine. 8 verses. At the end of the day, she's dead, her dad is dead, and he's making out with her sister. So not the greatest narrator in the world, kind of a creep. What are you going to do? You're in a mining community out in the middle of nowhere with your guitar. You're going to have to do something to put a roof over your head. And so poor Clementine, she dies. Her dad kills himself. She ends up fertilizing the posies and haunting his dreams in a dress soaked in brine. And and then he ends up making out with her sister. So that's this song, right? That's a good guitar song. Let's play the melody. You've got zeros, twos, threes. I don't see any. Oh, there is a one down there. So since you've got a one, you're probably going to want to play it in first position. If I remember right there, yeah, there are no fives anyway till the very, very end. So we'll play through the melody 2 times. And remember to take the second ending when we go around to the second ending. Duh. The second time. 1, 2. Remember, a little vibrato on that last 5. Okay, just take your minute. Probably your ring finger is pretty wiggly anyway, and just give it that. Sounds pretty when you put that vibrato onto those single high notes. Anytime you got a note further up the fretboard that's all by itself and it's a longer note, half note or longer, just put a little vibrato on it. It sounds nice. One of the nice things that we can do on this instrument, like a little harder to do on ukulele, it doesn't have a ton of sustain, and so you don't really hear it. But on this instrument, because we got tons of sustain, boy, you can really make that sound nice. And you don't have to have a ton of skills, right? On violin, you have to know what you're doing. But in guitar, just a little wiggle creates just a little bit of waver in the overall sound quality, and you got it going on. All right, our tough axe here is a little bit, obviously quite a bit tougher. Mostly you're going to be holding your A chord, making modifications to your A chord as necessary, and then you're going to go to your E chord. You'll be adding in your pinky. Your pinky is going to be pretty busy on this one, getting your E7 chord in and your 3 in. And so just know that this is the beginning of arthritis in your pinky. Okay, here we go. From the top, very slow, 2 times through. 1, 2. chord on 2. When you play it that slow, it actually sounds like a good song. Really, pretty decent melody, honestly, and not complicated chords. But you guys, as I'm fighting the E7s a tiny bit, fitting in the melody, it's definitely, it keeps your hands full. Okay, all right, that's enough Clementine. Let's squeeze on the other piece of music we are working on is Beautiful Dreamer. And it's a lot, right? So we're only going to play through it probably one way today, because I want to take just a minute to talk about Imagine and Wonderful World. So let's just play through Beautiful Dreamer one time. Vic says, I think I like all the songs, every song played slow. I do. I will tell you that the chances of me arranging a song that has to be played faster is pretty small. I just think, who's in it? Why are you all in such a hurry? Plus, any song with a really solid melody is always going to work at different speeds. And so, and I generally don't arrange songs that don't have solid melodies on them anyway, because I need the melody to come out of the instrument instead of my face. And so modern songs have a tendency to be a bit of a disappointment because they just don't always have that great a melody in them. And so you end up with a pickle. Since we are at 3:38 already, we're going to play this. Honestly, we're not going to do even the repeat. Just play all the way through to the bottom one time. Ignore all of your repeats. So one time through. So 56 measures, no stopping, no repeats. Let's just play this straight through. Because I do want to talk about Wonderful World and Imagine. So I just want to talk about what's on the paper there. We probably won't even have time to play them. Okay. From the top, 1, 2, 3. Keep going. Go through the repeat. Last page. Isn't that beautiful? Holy cow, Stephen Foster killed it on that one. Okay, every now and then he wrote something that wasn't horrible, and this is one of those moments. Just really, really solid piece of music. And again, your chords here are all level 1 chords, which is kind of exciting. And Jennifer, I don't mean to single you out, but A chord, D chord, E chord. All of those it's just those 3 chords. Those are three of the 4 of our level 1 chords. So this is a perfect opportunity to just get comfortable, because I know you're a singer as well. Just play through it, just singing and working those chords, and just really refamiliarizing yourself with A, D, and E. And just a great opportunity to have a really nice piece of music with some very basic chords, and really just beautiful, right? I think we all agree that this song's a home run. All right, finally, let's talk very quickly, okay? And we never have enough time to get in everything I need to do. Let's go grab. If you haven't sent me an email yet, you have to send me an email. I don't leave copyrighted songs on the website, so that's why you have to send me an email. We're going to be playing Wonderful World and Imagine as our level 4 songs, both tonight and then basically all the way through the holiday season. So let's take a look at Imagine first, and let me talk to you about it for just a second. Imagine, as all of you know, it has long been credited to Leno and Ono. And when I say the word Ono, a lot of you, your sphincters clench up, and your first thought is, I hate that woman. And recently, the copywriting, yeah, it is exciting. Recently, the copyright people have agreed with Yoko's case, and she has been given solo songwriting credit for this. So this is actually her song. So we won't talk about that much, but I do want you to know, because of that, it's okay to not treat it with the level of reverence that we treat all of the other Lennon and McCartney music. However, I have treated this with an extraordinary amount of reverence, because what was that last bar chord on bar 10? In Beautiful Dreamer, Elizabeth? Are we talking? Yeah, you've got to be talking about that. Let me just peek and see if I know what Elizabeth is talking about. Oh, what I'm doing on the end is a 2 and 5. That's my last bar chord. You could play a regular A chord. It sounds prettier with the 5 on the top. If I ever repost this, I will repost it eventually. I'll put a 5 there. Yeah. Sorry. It's just A chord with an A on the top. Okay. All right. Imagine. I have treated this as if John Lennon wrote it. His original key is C. You have the original key is C. It's not the best key for guitar, but it will not jar. All of you who are baby boomers, you're in this key on purpose, okay? Because it actually sounds like they did it. The big problem with this song, 2 problems. One, you're going to have a ton of F chords in there. So for those of you who hate F chord, this is your moment to work on it. Okay, so F chord is your E chord, remember? E chord. Push it up, add the bar. Okay, and F chord is why you quit guitar. Okay, but don't quit this time. Okay, just accept the fact you may sound like this. That's okay. Let it sound like that. The reason it sounds like that, you just haven't quite built the hand strength necessary to beat F chord. Okay, it's a tough chord. And in the meantime, while that chord is coming around, you're going to play that sound. And also, when you get to the tough axe version of this, I've mostly been able to arrange around the bar, so that you don't necessarily have to do the bar, and you can substitute fingering so that you can play the F parts of the F chord, and it'll work just fine. I'll have you clarify that question then, Elizabeth. I'm not positive what you're talking about. So You know you got F chord in this. If you can be working on that, it's going to serve you as a guitarist long term. Because long term, when I watch Arlo play, he's here today. When it says G chord, I look up, he's doing this G chord, and I'm like, why does he do that G chord? That's way harder. Well, it's way easier, generally speaking, once you know your bar chords. It's just an E chord with a bar on it, and so it's normal for me to find more advanced guitar players using these bar shapes. They're a lot more useful, a lot more powerful, and once your bar is in shape, you'll be doing them a lot. But in the meantime, we have to deal with F chord. I'd spend a little bit of time seeing how clean and pretty you can get it. It's coming up in this song. Second thing that I would say is difficult about this song, the melody is actually exactly what you'd think. There's nothing fancy or complicated in here at all, to be honest. I'm surprised at actually how nice it is. But this introduction, you almost have to get the introduction right because you really want it to work, and it really kind of has to be the way John did it. Okay, so you can probably grab your full chord and then make it work. Okay, and then you could theoretically grab your full F chord, but I don't think I would. I think I would just drop my middle finger down. There's the challenge. You got to study these first two measures until you're sick of them. The first two measures are the secret to letting everybody know what song you're about to play. And here's the hard part of measure 2. You see at the very end of measure 2, look up in the standard notation. You have 16th notes. Okay, so it's ba da ba da ba da ba da ba dum ba dum ba da bump bump bump. That's the hard part. Bump bump bump. And then you go back to the same idea. So those 3 notes, if you get those 3 notes right, then everything else in the song will be magical, and it will actually be like people will come up and want your autograph because you're such a great player. But getting those 3 notes is important and difficult. So if it were me tonight, what I would be focusing in on is playing measures 1 and 2 until those 16th notes, and play the other notes slower, obviously, in order to get the 16th notes correct. So there's that. Playing through the rest of it, it is you will not like the fact that it's in the key of C with plenty of Fs, but I thought that's what John put it in. I will put it in the key of C, and plus we need to work on our F chords anyway, right? If you read through the tough uke, you will see mostly I was able to successfully arrange around using the bar, and the bar is fine. The bar will help you if you are feeling barsy, but you don't have to do the bar anywhere in here. The other thing I'd recommend on this song is that you use your claw. Okay, yeah, you'll be fine with your thumb down, but it really lends itself, the whole arrangement will lend itself to using your claw on this one. So this, for those of you guys that are classically thinking, yep, classical music is who I am, claw. Okay, claw is going to be the best approach to this song, I would say. Okay, and even in the beginning when you've got that arpeggio, right? So you're not having a ton of motion here, and you're having just a minimal amount of motion over here, and then however fast you can do that will determine how fast you should play this song. Okay, and so you may need to slow it down quite a bit in order to get that little 16th note deal going there. So think about claw. Think about the fact that you're going to have an F chord in here. You don't have to use the bar if you're playing tough uke, tough axe, but it's will be helpful if you do, but not necessarily required. And then, of course, play the melody a bunch of times. Really because the melody is good. The melody's good, and you'll remember what's in your head that he sings and what's actually on the paper are almost note for note and rest for rest, almost identical. So I don't think you'll run into any real challenges with what's in your head versus what's on the paper. Okay, imagine. Let's very quickly then talk about Wonderful World. All right, Wonderful World. The hard part of this thing is repeats. I would study the repeats up at the top of the page. I double checked them. I think they're right. 0 through 16, and so on. This song has F sharp minor in it, which is almost more annoying in my mind than F. So you're going to have bar on 2 and then your E minor shape in front. Okay, so you're starting off with your E minor here, moving that up to 4 and then adding a bar. Okay, so I see trees of green, red roses too. I see them blue for me and you, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Okay, and also the pacing is a little bit weird in the way what's in our head from Louis Armstrong versus what's on the paper. There are some differences here, so you may find a few moments where you're challenging that. And I'm willing to discuss this. I've rewritten Wonderful World maybe 400 times at this point, so I'm willing to discuss your idea versus what's on the paper here. But just be aware, these chords are, while it's in the key of D, which we like, at least there's moments in here that's not necessarily what you like. It's jazz, guys. And so jazz, you're going to run into a whole lot of chords that are a challenge for you. So if you're chordsy, know that you have your work cut out for you. If you're just playing the melody is it's a beautiful melody, absolutely really fun to play. And just pay attention to the count. You're in 2/4 on this one, so it's 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2 in every single measure, but you have lots of eighth notes, so it really feels like 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and most of the time. You'll play through 16, then you go back and play down again. And when you get to 13 the second time, you jump down to 17, and then you play all the way to measure 35. And then you're going to go back, play the beginning part again, and then the last time you're going to jump from 13 down to 36 to wrap up the song. And because Louis Armstrong does it, I do it too. When you get to 36, you start slowing way down. Now, what I did was actually slow the notes down so that you'll probably play it at full speed. You won't need to adjust your tempo, but the notes are a lot longer through that. Notice all quarter notes, half notes, even tied half notes are showing up in there. And so you can actually play it at the speed that it's written without slowing down. The only place you're going to really slow down is at measure 44, where you'll actually pull the tempo back. What a wonderful world, and let that go for a long time. That's the only place you'll actually slow down. The rest of the time, you keep the tempo pretty steady through that. All right, so both of those songs probably wouldn't hurt to put 6 months to a year in on, and we're going to put in 4 or 5 weeks on. So you've got those. If you haven't got those, send me an email, and we'll make those we'll turn those into part of your repertoire. They are definitely level 4 songs. There's definitely tough to play, and I've been working on them a lot. I like them. I'm not positive that I'm ready to do all the work necessary to play them, but there they are. So remember your level. Remember that all these pieces and parts, you should be able to play melody on every single song. That's step one. Step 2, work on your chords. Make sure you know your chords. And then if that's all going well, that's when you start diving into tough uke. So remember tonight, 8 o'clock my time. You'll figure out what time it is. That's if you're not in the mountain time zone, and we'll go over it. I will post the link on the website just as always, and you just come in. It's free, all that stuff. So hope you guys will come and hang out with me tonight. Vic, I'll see you tonight. Evelyn, see you tonight. It'll be challenging. Jennifer, if you're still listening, I'm delighted you stepped in here. It's a tough instrument, but it's probably worth it, right, guys? I mean, I think the work that we put in on this thing, while it can sometimes feel like heavy lifting, I think that the payoff is there. So, Pauline, I'll see you tonight. You guys have a great night. Nancy, you'll be there too. And Donna's walking in with Henry. Henry's coming in. So I will see all of you guys this evening, and have a great afternoon. And be good, be safe, keep practicing, keep showing up. Like and subscribe. All right. Talk to you guys later.